Let's get started. So QuickBooks Online Basics for Accountants, thank you so much for spending time with me today. My name is LeahHartman. I am a Senior Product Consultant here at Intuit. I just recently had my 7-year anniversary here with the company. I've been working in sales for the last 2 years. So I am here to talk about basics for QuickBooks Online Accountant, right? From the very beginning, we're going to talk about how to get started, what it looks like, basic stuff, right? Maybe you're still in the learning phase of QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Online Accountant and how to manage it and all the ins and outs and things like that. A couple of housekeeping. Number one, if you have questions exactly where you put your where you're currently residing, please don't hesitate to jump in with questions. I will stop and I will check them out as we continue to move on. Number two, there's a handout in the handouts section of GoToWebinar. It is the exact same deck that I am currently using. Please keep in mind that this is something that I have to continually update when we do make changes. So you can keep it for today, but I do have links provided when, like, let's say, when we talk about subscription levels, right? I do have links there that'll give you the most up-to-date information. So please just keep in mind you can absolutely keep this deck, use it for your needs, but things do get changed and updated. So you're always going to want to look at those links for any changes, right? Most recent stuff. And then last but not least, thank you for spending 60 minutes with me today. We do not offer CPE. I do apologize in advance. It's just not in our wheelhouse at this moment. But without further ado, I'm going to jump in. So we've got quite a bit of an agenda today, right? So first things first, we're going to talk about what is QuickBooks Online Accountant, right? Some benefits of the cloud. Maybe you're working with clients who are still struggling the idea of the cloud, why the cloud, things like that. We're going to talk about benefits and how you can, approach this ever-changing industry, right? How to sign up for QuickBooks Online Accountant or how to accept an invitation if you don't have QuickBooks Online Accountant already. Navigational basics, how to add a client to your dashboard, some subscription level differences. I know we just recently added a new one. We'll talk about that as well. Payroll add-on options for those subscription levels. And then what is QuickBooks Self-Employed? You're going to see that when working in QuickBooks Online Accountant, and then accessing your client's data is going to be a short and sweet demo if we have time at the end to cover the things that we have talked about today. Okay? Last but not least, if you are familiar with the webinars that myself and my team provide, there is a website, and I'll make sure to put this in the chat so that you're not having to remember it. QBObestpractices.com. I'm not sure if this is where you guys signed up for today's webinar or not, but this is a great tool for you to utilize outside of today. There's other webinars that you are more than welcome to attend. There's also videos and things like that that you can also look at and check out on your own time if you're looking on how to do things. For whatever reason, this is not working. So anyhow, I've plugged it into the chat room. You can check it out. If there is an issue with it, my team and I will have to check out that later. But QBObestpractices.com. Check it out. There's some really great information for accountants. It's not for your clients necessarily. It's going to be just for you as accountants and all that good stuff. So jumping in. So what is QuickBooks Online Accountant? Or we call it QBOA for short. So it's a one-stop shop for running your accounting practice in the cloud. It's got on-the-go access, so you have the ability to work with your clients' books in real time right from your dashboard. We'll talk about why that's a benefit and why that is a key talking point, right, when moving to the cloud. Clear priorities. Know which clients need your attention with automatic notifications, right? So you've got your dashboard that'll tell you who's got what going on in their file. Team collaboration, so work together easily in a single client list. So not only do you have access to the clients, but so does your employees, right? Or maybe you just work for yourself, and that's totally fine too. And it's a single workflow process. So the idea behind QuickBooks Online Accountant is that you can complete your bookkeeping, accounting, payroll, and taxes, filing taxes for clients at the end of the year. So all in one spot, one-stop shop. Right? Things like that. So that is what QuickBooks Online Accountant is. It is a dashboard to manage your QuickBooks Online clients, and not just for yourself, but for your team members as well that work for you. Fairly simple. What is QuickBooks Online Accountant? I like to end this section with a small statistic. It's not small, though. 78% of small businesses will be moving online by 2020. So when we first started this statistic, when we first started putting this statistic out, I think it was back in 2016, 2017, And 2020 seemed like it was a long time away, but guys, it's next year. And so the idea behind this is to just state, hey, this is an industry that's changing. We've got new people, entrepreneurs out there who need help with accounting, right? They're going to be good at what they do, and that's, their business, right? But they still need help with accounting. And so rather than being reactive to this shift in change, be proactive. Learn how to use the product so that if they do come to you and they want to use QuickBooks Online, you're like, I got you. I can help you out. Absolutely. So something to keep in mind. 78% of small businesses will be moving online by 2020. And we're going to talk about why, some of the benefits and the reasons why people want to move to the online product. Without further ado, we're going to talk about benefits of the cloud. So first things first, anytime, anywhere access. Talked a little bit about this already, but the flexibility to sign in from anywhere with an internet connection, or if you're on a cell phone, you can, as long as you have mobile data, right? Then you can sign in. It's like a Facebook application, right? As long as you've got internet or mobile data, you can log in. No hosting services required. If you're familiar with QuickBooks Desktop, you have to purchase the desktop product. You have to purchase additional licenses if you need more than one person to sign in at the exact same time, and then hosting services, right? So it can get kind of pricey. Well, that's all built into QuickBooks Online and that monthly fee that you are paying or your client is paying. So being able to access accounts from any device, whether it's a laptop, whether it's a smartphone or tablet, right? So the ability to access it from anywhere is pretty simple. And the other great thing about the online product is it is device agnostic, meaning that if your client's using a Mac computer, and I don't know about you, but I am Mac stupid. I grew up on PC. I have not ever used Macs, or at least not very, very often. But if I had a client who is on a Mac and I use PC, you don't have to worry about user interface changes. So PC and Mac users have the same experience. So you're able to teach your clients easier. You're not having to worry about different products, right? So you guys are all still using the same thing, QuickBooks Online. Improved collaboration. Multiple users can be logged in at the exact same time, working in the same books, making real-time updates. Guys, this is included in that monthly fee that you are paying for QuickBooks Online. This is not an additional fee. Depending on the level of service QuickBooks Online that you're using, we'll talk about the different level, the different users and how many are available in each version. We'll talk about that when we get there. And then from your client's perspective, they can invite you as an accountant, which allows you to access their books to answer questions, fix problems, and get the client ready for tax time, right? So the ability to get you guys inside the file, and rather than working on things at the very last second at the end of the year, think about it this way. If you have clients that you're able to touch points with maybe once every quarter, once a month, once every 6 months, it's going to be a lot easier come tax time. If you guys do file tax returns on behalf of clients, it's going to be a lot easier for you to help them in a timely fashion rather than getting a super screwed up file at the end of the year and having to take a lot of time to fix it before you can file their taxes. So just keep that in mind when working or thinking about this whole cloud aspect. And then, of course, no need to transfer sensitive data back and forth. So I do refer to desktop quite a bit only because it is our sister product. But if you are familiar with QuickBooks Desktop, there is a special tool called Accountant's Copy File Transfer. I know that when I worked in support 2 years ago, nobody ever called me to tell me that they loved it, right? There was issues. Sometimes there's no, issues with uploading the file, and you're not really getting a live copy of what's going on inside the client's desktop file. So there's no need to do any of that transferring when you're in the cloud, right? And it's sensitive data. It's important to keep that stuff secure. So you don't have to transfer back and forth. You're all working in the same file real time. Preventing unauthorized access is a big one, especially for a lot of folks who didn't grow up with like the cloud and things like that, right? So login credentials for your cloud accounting software enables only designated people to view and access your financial information. Intuit has implemented multi-factor authentication across all of our products to protect your data. So a couple things that I want to point out for this particular section is we all know that the biggest reason why people are concerned about moving to the cloud is security, and I can tell you this. Banks have a high level of security when it comes to using the cloud, and so does Intuit. So a couple things that you can do to keep yourself secure. Number one, make sure everybody has their own login and their own password when they're accessing either QuickBooks Online Accountant or your client is logging into QBO themselves, right? We don't want to share logins and passwords. That's not a good practice. And then the other thing would be to don't save your passwords on Google. I'm a bad example. I save my passwords. You know, I have Google save all my passwords. Don't do that. And the reason why that is because if someone was able to log into your computer and open up Google Chrome, then, you know, they could sign into QuickBooks Online and then boop, they're in, right? So as far as being secure, there are steps that you can take as well to make sure that the data stays secure. But we do take security very seriously, and I can tell you now from us, you know, logging in and accessing it from the cloud is it's not more safe. I mean, you think about it from, you know, we're keeping that data secure rather than you having to make sure that you have a firewall on your desktop computer and things like that. So we're taking that on as a company. Safe storage of financial information. So kind of ties into the last one, right, security. So data is routinely backed up to servers in multiple locations. No physical hard drives or computers containing sensitive data that can be stolen, right? So since it's in the cloud, if somebody breaks into the office, right, and they steal that physical computer, as long as there is no passwords that are saved and they can't log in, then your client's data is still secured. Again, you know, if you have a physical backup of somebody's desktop file inside QuickBooks Desktop on that hard drive, right, then that could potentially be compromised. Something to think about, again, when you're talking with folks who might be hesitant to move to the cloud, if you think it's a good fit for them, right? And then on the flip side of that, natural disasters, right? So fires, floods, they do happen, especially for folks who live in areas that are prone to this, right? Things like that. Storing information in the cloud is going to help keep your keep that data safe, right? And keep it safe if there is an issue, maybe the computer gets burned or waterlogged from a flood, right? Accessing it through a new computer or through the phone will be just as easy as you know, getting back on track and working with the file again, right, rather than having to try to recover it from that physical computer. Seamless sync. So cloud accounting software does the heavy lifting so that you can spend your time on other important business tasks. So things like automatically syncing to your bank account so that you're not having to manually import transactions or verifying expenses. And then QuickBooks Online connects to third-party applications that seamlessly sync data. No need for import or export for manual entry. So in the cloud environment, in the cloud world, we are focusing QuickBooks Online as a product that does what it does best, and that is accounting, right? And everybody has their own niche. Everyone has their own specific way of doing products or services or their job, and that's why we have implemented the ability to add on third-party applications. So the ability to automate services that maybe a specific client needs automated that maybe somebody else might not need, right? So it just depends on what the clients need in order to make their business what it is, right? To help automate, make things easier. How much money is your time worth is the question I always ask, right? Yes, and also think about it from this perspective too. If there are folks out there who get frustrated with, well, why do I need a third-party app? Why can't I just use QBO for everything? Well, think about it from this perspective. In this day and age, most everybody has a smartphone, right? And I don't know about you, but I use about 6 to 10 applications on my smartphone for personal stuff. So that includes bank accounts. That includes paying my bills electronically. That includes, you know, 2 separate apps for credit card versus checking account, right? Chase versus Citi. You know, I have mint.com, which is helps me budget. I have Prism, which helps me pay my bills electronically, right? So that's already like 4 or 5 right there. I don't know if games count, though, but I have a few of those as well. But in this day and age, that's where we are. We're in an app-based world. So QuickBooks Online, rather than having a bunch of stuff thrown in there that we can do subpar, right, maybe average, we're going to have accounting in there. And anything outside of that, we're going to let the apps take care of that and make it make them do what they do best in whatever that niche is, right? Whatever that specific application does or solves for, right? Things like that. So that's kind of the gist of it. And then pay as you grow. No long-term commitments. So SaaS solutions are often monthly subscriptions with various service levels like QBO. Purchase what you need today, knowing you can expand or get smaller as needed. So the QuickBooks Online does have the ability to upgrade and downgrade, and there's no 2-year commitments or anything like that. Apply today, cancel today if you need to, add payroll moving forward down the road, add payroll now, whatever the client needs, you're able to add or remove as you go. So this includes adding more users, advanced features, additional tools, things like that in apps. So pay as you grow. Benefits. Hopefully that helps you guys be able to speak a little bit better to the benefits of working in QuickBooks Online and having that that conversation with clients who, you know, maybe it's a better fit for them, right? Maybe they are struggling with things in the QuickBooks desktop product or maybe other desktop products, right? And working in the cloud would help solve for those pain points rather than, you know, dealing with those continuous issues, things like that. So hopefully that was helpful. Like I said, keep those slides if you need them to help kind of remind yourself how to have those conversations if needed. So next up, we have sign up for QBOA or how to accept an invitation. So there's 2 different ways that you can get access to QuickBooks Online Accountant. If you have not signed up for QBOA yet, this is where you're going to need to pay attention. Otherwise, if you already have a QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard, then you can probably not listen for a hot second, but this will only take a minute. The first way is going to be signing up at this particular link. So slide 14 has the quickbooks.intuit.com/accountants/online link. Sign up is always free. When you click on that green sign up button, this is the screen you're going to get. Now again, we're signing up for a brand new QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard if you don't have one already. One thing I do want to point out is the region. First thing you need to do is you need to double check that you are in the right region. I believe based on where you are, it defaults to that country, but please make sure you're in the States. Make sure you have United States. The second thing you need to double check is if you're already using an Intuit login. If you're already using something Intuit related, whether it's TurboTax or maybe you're already using QuickBooks Online, right, but you want the accountant dashboard, if you already have an Intuit account, sign in. You're going to sign in with your user ID and your password that you already have created. Otherwise, if you don't have an Intuit login, then you're going to fill out the following information below. So email address is going to be the user ID, your first name, your last name, phone number of the, this is going to be a mobile device. This is where you can get those text messaged multi-factor authentication code digits, like the 6-digit code. You can get that texted to you, and then create a password. At the bottom, you're going to check, I would like to receive marketing emails or not, right? That's an optional thing. Once you've done that, then the next thing you're going to do is enter in your firm's information. What's your firm name? What's the zip code? And roughly how many number of small business clients are you currently serving? There is no right or wrong answer to any of these, okay? We're just asking for some information about you as a company, right? Things like that. So accounting firm name. If you are by yourself and you don't have one, you can just use your name. Zip code, and then of course how many small business clients are you currently serving. Once you click finish, this is the screen that you should be seeing. When you log in, should say, in this particular case, my QuickBooks Online accountant says Hartman Accounting, right? So if you log in, and this is the screen you get with the green bar across the top, you're in the right place. Now that's the first way to get access to QuickBooks Online Accountant. There's an alternative way. If you have somebody who's using a client that you're going to be onboarding, like they're a brand new client and they use QuickBooks Online and they need to invite you to their books, then what they'll do is the screenshot on the left-hand side shows that the client would be logging in to their QuickBooks Online and they would be inviting you as an accountant user. And once they invite you, on the right-hand side is where you're going to see an email, and you simply click Accept Invitation. And so through that Accept Invite is where you would enter in the similar information of, the name of your firm, your password, things like that. Once you're done, then you're going to get the QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard as well. So that'll be the alternative way to sign up for QuickBooks Online Accountant. Again, if you already have one, you're good to go. No need to do anything further as far as signing up. All right, next things next, we're going to talk about some navigational basics. First things first, number one, you're going to sign in. Both accountants and clients sign in to QBO.intuit.com. If it's the first time you're ever signing in on this particular web browser or on this particular computer, then you will be prompted with an MFA authentication. The 6-digit PIN, it's either going to be texted or emailed to you, depending on what you choose. And then if you're interested in checking out our sample drive, if you don't want to mess around with real data, which is totally fair, there is a sample drive. What's cool about this is you can log in, make all the changes you want in the world, and then when you refresh the page or you close out and reopen, it's all gone. It gets reset to the original sample drive, things like that. So check that out. That's slide 20 if you want to check out that sample test drive. So this is our QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard. As you can see, I've got quite a few clients, and we're going to just kind of cover some basics here. Number one, the whole section on the left-hand side, we call it the left-hand navigation bar, left panel. This is where you're going to access menus for your practice and your books. Just as an FYI or a heads up, every QuickBooks Online Accountant comes with a free Your Books. The free Your Books allows for you to manage your firm's bookkeeping through the dashboard, through the QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard. So this would be for your firm. It's free, QuickBooks Online Plus, and it also comes with payroll too. That's included. I think the only thing you have to pay for payroll would be a per employee month fee, which is like $2. It's either 2 or 4. I can't remember. One of those. I think we just changed our pricing, just a structure just a little bit with payroll. But either way, it's a small fee if you want to use our full service payroll or our do-it-yourself payroll for free. So that's the Your Books. But we're going to be talking about the Your Practice, which is going to be on the top portion of that left panel, right where it says Your Practice. So we're going to focus on clients, team, things like that, okay? There's also a new work tab, which is practice management. So for those that are still new, smaller firms, there is the work tab on the left-hand side. And it is a practice management tool that's built inside QuickBooks Online Accountant. So it's no additional cost. But rather than having to use an outside or a third party to help you manage tasks and projects within the firm or within clients, you can do it right within QuickBooks Online Accountant. So great little tool. Number 2, we're looking at the Go to Clients QuickBooks. This is a drop-down that will allow you to toggle into a client QuickBooks Online company, right? So clicking on that drop-down, we call it the client switcher, will allow you to be able to access different clients and their home pages, right? So that's one way to do it. There's actually another way to do it too. We'll talk about that later. Number 3, firm/accountant name and the number of clients that you have access to. So in this particular example, I have Clean Books LLC. That is the name of my firm. We like to keep the books clean. And then I currently have access to 44 clients. Number 4, so in the upper right-hand corner, we have the plus sign, which is the Add Client button. This is where you can sign up a client for QuickBooks if you have the permissions. I also realize in the upper right-hand corner there's a big green button that says Add Client. It works the same way. So the plus sign or the Add Client option would allow you to be able to add new subscriptions, right? So this is where you would add a new subscription for a new client that you're onboarding to QBO that's never used the QBO before. Number 5 is going to be the gear icon. So in the upper right-hand corner, we have the little gear, the little wheel to the right of the plus sign. This is where you would go to manage your QuickBooks Online accountant accounts, right? So if you need to change wholesale billing or things like that, that's where you would go to manage those. Number 6 is our Pro Advisor profile. So in the upper right-hand corner to the right of the gear icon, there is a little person silhouette. This is where you would be able to manage your listing on the Find a Pro Advisor marketplace. So for those that are not aware, QuickBooks Online Accountant also gives you the ability to go to the Pro Advisor section on the left side of the navigation bar, right? So on the left-hand side where it says Pro Advisor. You can go in there and you can take an exam that would certify you as a QuickBooks Online expert. and then market yourself online for new clientele on the Find a Pro Advisor site. So it's free. We do provide you with training, CPEs, all that good stuff, and it is an annual thing. You'll have to make sure that you stay certified every year in order to stay on our Find a Pro Advisor website. But basically, it's free marketing for you. If you're looking to onboard new clients, then you would be able to do that straight from our Find a Pro Advisor website. Number 6 in the upper right-hand corner is just where you would manage that profile. That's yours for the business that would be able to tell you, hey, this is what I can support. And then when you get onto that Find a Pro Advisor site, people can look you up. And then last but not least, on this particular page, we have number 7, our help. So the little question mark in the upper right-hand corner. This is where you can get information for US-based chat, Pro Advisor support, or phone support. So the chat link or the phone number for Pro Advisor support is available in the question mark in the upper right-hand corner. Next things next is just take a little bit of a closer look at our client list here. So again, this is just a zoomed in picture of what we were seeing in the last page, right, of just the clients, right? We've gotten rid of the green bar in the left-hand navigation. So a couple things I want to talk about. Number 1, this is a dashboard that allows you to view your QuickBooks Online, your QuickBooks Self-Employed, or your ProConnect Tax Online clients an accountant has access to. So if your client's not showing up in this list and you have access to them, you may want to work with support to figure out how you can fix it so that they can show up in your dashboard like this. The idea behind it is you should be accessing all your clients from this one screen that uses QuickBooks Online or Self-Employed, or you use ProConnect Tax Online to file their taxes at the end of the year, right? So with that, once you have all your clients on the list, review all your clients in one place. So there's client name and phone number information. You can add notes to the client's profiles, right? Notes is not something your client can see. If you need to say, hey, this person hasn't paid me, right, you can put that on there. No one's going to see it. QBO status. What version of QBO are they using? Who last signed in and when? And was the period closed, right? Have there been any prior periods that have been closed for that particular client? Items that need to be reviewed. So as you can see in some of these columns, you've got things like bookkeeping for review, 28 unaccepted transactions for Woods Lawn Mowing Service, right? So items that need to be reviewed. So that would tell me there's transactions inside QuickBooks Online that have not been added to the register or accounted for, and so their P&L is most likely off. Not most likely, I know it is, right? So things like that. That's the kind of information you're looking at on this particular screen. Last time a bank was downloaded, so if your client is using the bank feeds feature where they connected their bank account to QBO, then it would be able to tell you the last time that they downloaded, right? If there's a failure, right? Sometimes that happens. Sometimes the connection with the banks get a little wonky. And so it would tell you either how to fix it, or if you need to call support to make sure that it's escalated. And then, of course, on the there are other columns that you can see that would allow you to be able to see payroll information if your clients are using QuickBooks Online Payroll in their client file, or tax-related stuff. So ProConnect Tax Online is an Intuit product that integrates with QBO, and you as an accountant have the ability to file tax returns on behalf of clients, things like that. Just as a heads up, remember how I talked about there was a second way to access clients' books? If you click on the little QuickBooks icon, it actually opens up the client's company from there as well. So if you notice under bookkeeping, there's a status column, and it's got a little QB meatball, as I like to call it. If you click on that, that will also take you to your client's homepage as well. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need to click on drill down on a client's name. We're not going to click on the QB icon, but we're going to click on the name of the client, and we're going to get a client detail page. So this is where you can click on the name of the client from the client list to review more specific information about this particular client. I'll tell you what, this is same information, but just more detailed as to what you saw on that first page, the client list, right? So there's more information like contact info. This is where you can add the notes I was talking about earlier, the status and subscription level. All of that information is on this screen. Who last signed in and when, items that need to be reviewed, last banking download, right? So same things, payroll, tax. This particular screen also has deeper information about like account balances and reconciliation status. and then how to make edits to contact information and team access when you go to the Edit Client button in the upper right-hand corner. So lots of information here. Just so you know, on the right-hand side where it says Review in QuickBooks, those hyperlinks do actually take you to that area in the client's books. So rather than having to go backwards, you can click on those links, right? So you can continue to move forward with your job of whatever it is that you were focusing on at that time. So rather than, you know, having to go backwards, I think I said that already. Anyhow, you get the idea. More detailed information, we call this the client detail page. More information about the client's file, what's going on inside QBO. Now, if I were to click on the arrow in the upper left-hand corner of QuickBooks Online Accountant, then it'll take me back to my dashboard. And the next thing I want to talk about is the team page in the left-hand navigation bar. When I click on team, this is the team list. So this is where the team is the staff of the accounting firm. So this is where you're going to invite employees that work for the firm, not your clients. Please don't invite your clients here. There's a different spot for your clients to get invited to their files if they don't have access, right? But the team page is where your firm manages their staff. So I work for the firm Clean Books LLC, and this is where they invited me. So in this page, you can do things like invite new team users. This is where you can edit existing team users. You can assign access to client companies. Not every user is going to have the same client list, right? You can dictate who gets what. Assign permissions for firm books and administrative tasks. So the other cool thing about this is not all team users have to have access to that free your books. So if you are legitimately using that for your firm's bookkeeping, you don't have to give everybody access to it. You can dictate if you want, hey, this person doesn't need to see that, right? They'll only have access to the dashboard to manage clients. You can mark team members inactive if needed, right? So maybe they are a seasonal worker, maybe it was somebody who does audit, maybe it was somebody who left the company. You can mark users as inactive. They won't be able to access anything moving forward. But we do inactivate rather than delete for audit log purposes. If I were to delete myself out of this particular dashboard, then any changes I have made through a client's file my name would disappear on it, right? So for a liability perspective, we don't delete, we inactivate. But when they try to sign in, they don't get access to anything, not the dashboard, nothing. So inactive is totally okay. And then this is where you would also transfer master admin of the QBOA account, right? So how do you, you know, if you've got the wrong person who's the master administrator of this particular QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard, you can transfer it from here. Just as a side note, there is no limited number of team members or team users you can have in QBOA. In the upper right-hand corner, if you click that Add User button, this is the steps process to add a new team member in QuickBooks Online Accountant. So 3 steps. First step is user profile, first name and last name and email address. Second step at the top, you'll see it says firm administration and books. This is where you assign full, basic, or custom permissions to firm administration and books. And then the last section is the number 3, client access. Choose which clients the team members can access. So you don't have to give every single team member access to all clients. You can choose which clients that they're going to work on, right? I like to consider it like a horse blinder mechanism, right? So they're only focusing on the things that they need to focus on. They don't need to look at everyone else's stuff. Granting access to a client, though, I have to make sure that I'm very clear on this. Any type of user that has access to a client is going to be getting full administrative permissions in that client's QuickBooks Online file. So you as a firm can dictate what they see on the dashboard, but a client file, they'll have full administrative access on, right? So we're talking about 2 levels of access. So I just want to point that out. When you're adding team members, there's no way for you to restrict specific access on a client's books, right? You can't say, I don't want them to access the payroll. That's not how that works. A little bit about navigational basis. The next thing I want to talk about is adding clients to the dashboard. So there's 2 different ways that you can do it. This is going to be for a brand new client who's never used QuickBooks Online. So the first thing that you're going to do is you can create a client. right? So in the upper right-hand corner of your QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard, which you see in the screenshot on the left, you can either click on the plus sign or you can click on that big old green button that says Add Client. And then on the right-hand side is where you're going to get a client contact information, and you're going to fill it out, okay? A couple things I want to point out here. Number one, this is, again, brand new client who's never used QBO before. You're going to want to create the subscription through QBOA, okay? This is where you're going to want to do it. Entering in the business name, the email address of the client, and then the next thing it's going to ask is QuickBooks subscription information, right? So what version of QBO does this client need, and are you going to be paying for it on behalf of the client, or is the client going to be paid directly? One thing I want to point out is wholesale discount is where the firm gets billed at a 50% discount for life of the subscription as long as it stays in wholesale. So you get a discounted price. So rather than paying the full $60 a month for QuickBooks Online, you'd be paying the $30 a month for QuickBooks Online Plus. But if you choose direct discount, then your client would get a discount maybe like 30% for 12 months, and then they'd have to pay full price. And you would not be able to put them in wholesale after you give them that discount. So something to keep in mind, some accounting firms will straight up charge the client whatever they're charged. Some accountants will say, hey, I'm getting paid $30 a month, but I want to add some profit to that, and then they'll put 10 extra bucks. So the client would be paying $40 a month, and you guys would be getting some sort of profit on that, right? So however you guys want to do it. Now, these are not updated pricing, okay? When we get into the demo later, not too much later, but later, I'll show you what the current pricing is, right? So again, screenshots get old, outdated, things like that. So that's not updated pricing. Just wanted to point that out. So that's the first way. Once you fill out all that information, the client will show up on your dashboard. The second way is if your client is already using QuickBooks Online and you need access to their data. They have to invite you as the accountant user. So it's kind of a simple process. You have to walk your client through this. This isn't something you can do for them. First thing is you're going to ask the client to log into their QuickBooks Online. And for those of you that remembered, QBO.intuit.com is where they sign in. Then you're going to have them navigate to the gear icon in the upper right-hand corner. You're going to have them go to Manage Users, which is the screenshot you're seeing now. Select Accountant option at the top. So in the, let's see, my mouse here. Manage Users, Accountants. You have to make sure that they select the accountant section. Do not let them invite you as a regular user. You have to be invited as an accountant. And then you're going to have them select Invite Accountant here. They're going to need the email address that you used to sign up QBOA for, or whatever email address that was used to invite you to QBOA, right? Use that email, have them invite that email address, and then you will accept that invitation via email. Once you've done that, then when you go back to log into QBOA, you will see your clients from the dashboard. They will be listed here on your dashboard. Pretty easy stuff. Checking to see if there's any questions. No questions so far. Hopefully that's a good thing, but I'll move on. So subscription levels. So I want to point out the different levels of QuickBooks Online that are available, that are out there. And I think it's important to talk about these because we want to make sure that you're able to speak to them, right? Especially if you're working with a client who's brand new to QBO and they need a little bit of assistance on what they should be picking, right? So it's important for you to know what the different levels are. So QuickBooks Online service level. So QuickBooks Online, I just want to point out, it's for sole proprietors, LLCs, partnerships, corporations, nonprofits, things like that, right? An actual business with an EIN, okay? The smallest version of QBO is going to be Simple Start. Simple Start has one client user. So this would be somebody who just has the one person that works for them, or they only need one person to access the books. They get 2 bookkeeper or accounting firms by invite. So they get the ability to add on 2 bookkeeper or accounting. Maybe one's an accounting firm and one's an auditor, right? Or they do the taxes, right? That's why there's 2. This particular company, QuickBooks Online Simple Start, gets unlimited number of estimates and invoices. You can track expenses and print checks, but you cannot track bills. There is no account payable functionality inside Simple Start. So you can track AR, accounts receivable, but you can't track accounts payable. The ability to connect bank accounts is available. You can track vendors for 1099 miscellaneous in Simple Start. Yes, you heard me right. You can track vendors in 1099 miscellaneous inside Simple Start. And there's an option for you to add payroll to Simple Start, whether it's full service or do it yourself. And because of the functionality, there's about 20 or so reports inside Simple Start. The next version up, the next step up is going to be Essentials. So think about it. It has everything that Essentials has, right? Including, Essentials has 3 users, right? So the ability to have 3 different users for the client, right? Still have the 2 bookkeeper accounting firms. And then it also comes with unlimited time tracking only users. So the ability to have time tracking only users in Essentials is available. Because there's more than 1 user, you now have user access control because there's 3 different ones. And then the ability to manage and pay bills from vendors is available. So accounts payable is available in Essentials, which also adds to the ability to create delayed charges or delayed credits. Multi-currency is an option you can turn on in Essentials. Reoccurring transactions is available in Essentials. And so because of that functionality, there's about 40 or so reports available inside Essentials. The next step up, the next upgrade up, is going to be everything that has Simple Start and Essentials, and this is QuickBooks Online Plus. Plus is a very common version. A lot of folks will be using this, most likely, depending on, again, what they need. But so Plus is the next step up, so it has everything Simple Start and Essentials has, but it also includes, this one has 5 users, okay, 5 users, 2 bookkeeping accounting firms, so that's still the same, and then not only does it have time tracking, unlimited time tracking users, it also has unlimited reports only users. So Plus has unlimited time tracking and unlimited reports only. Class and location is also available to turn on inside QuickBooks Online Plus. Purchase orders, the ability to create POs is available in QBO Plus. And then, of course, with that inventory, the ability to turn on inventory using FIFO valuation, which is first in, first out, and be able to track profitability with 2-sided items. That's available in Plus. Billable time and expenses is available in Plus, and budgets. Because of that additional functionality, there's about 65 or so reports. And the reason why we say or so is because we do continue to add new reporting and things like that, so it does fluctuate. So if I had a set number in there, that would be silly. What can I take away from this? I'm just going to say this. Most of your clients are probably going to be wanting to use Essentials or Plus. Simple Start really isn't used that commonly. Again, a lot of folks need the ability to track accounts payable, which Simple Start cannot do. So from your perspective, I would say start with Essentials. If Essentials has everything that the client needs, start there. If your client needs inventory, or they need class tracking, location tracking, or they need budgeting, then you got to go to Plus. No question about it, got to go to Plus. So that would be the biggest thing I would focus on. Now, you'll notice at the bottom, this is where I put that updated link for pricing. So gives you the breakdown of what each version can or cannot do, and then it's got the updated pricing. Now, just keep that in mind that is the marketing website, right? So if a client goes straight to QuickBooks.com, those are the prices that they're going to see on that link that I sent you. But again, you can give them a discount if they go through you. Just keep that in mind. Last but not least, as far as QuickBooks Online versions go, there's one new one that we added. This is a new version of QuickBooks Online. This is in addition or better, bigger than QuickBooks Online Plus. So this is called QuickBooks Online Advanced. And QuickBooks Online Advanced can have between 6 and 25 users, excuse me. Smart reporting powered by Fathom is available. So we have integrated a third-party application into the monthly pricing for this particular product. It's Fathom. It's got amazing reporting, kind of helps solve the gap for some maybe reporting issues that some folks deal with. Batch importing invoices is available, right? No other QuickBooks Online products can batch import invoices except for the advanced version. Because of the advanced version, custom user permissions is now available. More custom than what you were seeing in Essentials or Plus. And then we also have Priority Circle. Gives you dedicated customer success manager support, Priority Circle support, and then self-paced online training for your clients. So you're not having to necessarily be the main contact. With that, I've got some more information about the advanced version. If you want to check it out, click on that link, keep it. Starting January 7th, we did add the QuickBooks Online Accountant, the QuickBooks Online Advanced to your wholesale window to be able to add. So I'll show you what that looks like when we get to the demo portion of it. Now, those are the 4 versions of QBO, okay? 4 versions. So in this order, Simple Start, Essentials, Plus, Online Advanced, okay? Those are the 4 versions. The next thing we're going to talk about is the payroll add-on options for those 4 versions, okay? First things first, we have QuickBooks Online Enhanced Payroll. This is where we support all 50 states inside QuickBooks Online Payroll. Print paychecks or use our free direct deposit for W-2 employees. Pay federal 941s and 944s and 940 taxes and file forms electronically. Pay state taxes and file forms electronically where available. We also do provide printer-ready forms or coupons and worksheets, things like that. Multi-state support. If you've got somebody who works in one state, lives in another, we support that. Employees can view pay stubs online. W-2s can be created and filed electronically at the end of the year. You, as an accountant, if you're going to be managing this, you can access it from a browser, an iPad, iPhone, Android. And if you do create the subscription through QBOA, then you do get the ability to provide a wholesale discount for payroll. Okay? So again, this is do-it-yourself. So you have to go in and enter in the W-4 information for the client, for the employee, right? You have to physically go in and run payroll. You have to remember to file the taxes when they're due, things like that. So this is do-it-yourself. Okay? This is going to be the cheaper option of the 2 payrolls. The second option we have is online full service. QuickBooks Online Full Service Payroll, it's basically where Intuit takes on the ability to run payroll for the client, right? Again, you as an accountant can provide a discount, 50% off of retail price. So QuickBooks Online Full Service Payroll is about $100 a month. And you as an accountant can provide a 50% for life discount, right? $50 a month. For full service, heck yeah, that sounds good, right? So this is where we help with setup. Local tax forms are actually included in full service. We don't have any tax penalties, guaranteed. If we make a mistake, we take that fee on, not the business. Accuracy is guaranteed. Again, we run the payroll, we file the taxes, we file the forms electronically, we do all of that for you. Okay? So if you as the accountant aren't going to be providing that in your services or the client's not going to do it, this would be a great option. So when you're going to create that client within QuickBooks Online, accountant, right, you can add a full service payroll through there. So those are the 2 versions of payroll that are available for Simple Start, Essentials, Plus, and Advanced. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is what is QuickBooks Self-Employed? What is QuickBooks Self-Employed? The reason why I have it separated out is because it is not QuickBooks Online. Okay? This is its own beast. It's different from QuickBooks Online, so that's why it's separated out. But what is it? And you're going to see it. It's something that will come up and I'll show you. QuickBooks Self-Employed is for sole proprietors who file a Schedule C 1099. That's it. It's a product that allows folks to be able to track business versus personal expenses. They can connect their banks and their credit cards. They can track miles with the little mobile application that they have available. Estimated quarterly tax payments will populate based off of what they've selected as business-related expenses or business-related income. There's only 3 reports, guys, only 3. The P&L, profit and loss, tax summary, and tax details. That's it. There is no accounts receivable or accounts payable tracking or sales tax tracking, and you cannot add payroll to this product. However, you as an accountant do have the ability to add, if you're creating a brand new self-employed product for somebody, you can do a wholesale discount through QuickBooks Online. It's like maybe $5 a month, I think. So here's what I want to confirm, or just remind folks. QuickBooks Self-Employed does not integrate with QuickBooks Online, meaning if you accidentally set somebody up in Self-Employed and they need to move to QBO or vice versa, they do not talk to each other. You have to start over. So please be careful when you're choosing the version of QuickBooks for your client. If they are a Schedule C contractor, self-employed would be a great option for them. So what is a Schedule C contractor? Your Uber drivers, your Lyft drivers, your hairdressers, real estate agents. Somebody who gets a 1099-C at the end of the year. Not a 1099-C, a Schedule C 1099, sorry. For sole proprietors who file Schedule C contractors, okay? This is not for small businesses. They do not talk to each other, so please don't accidentally sign someone up with self-employed and then try to set them up for QBO. They don't talk to each other. You can't move the data. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the file, the product. We're going to show you a little bit of, just remind you all the different options we talked about today, navigational basics, things like that. Before I go jump into the product, I do want to provide you guys with some resources. It's the second to last page in that PowerPoint I provided you, so page 42, slide 42, QBObestpractices.com. I know I put it in the chat, but it is on the slide deck. QBO training events. This is going to be if you want to log in and get live webinar training, you can go check out QBO training events. Those are going to be specific for the exam, though. If you want to be successful and pass that exam, you can go to those free webinars, get CPE credits, and there's actually some live training, too. There might be some live training in and around your state. And then Accountant Help Hub, this is where you would be able to access how-tos, articles, questions from the community, and things like that. So slide 42 has those links. Check it out. Without further ado, we're going to jump into QuickBooks Online Accountant. So you guys are already familiar with this. So QBO.intuit.com is where everybody signs in. Once you sign in, this is the screen you get. So just to remind you all, go to Clients QuickBooks in the upper left-hand corner is where you're going to access your client's books. The other way you can do it is if you click on the QB icon under Status, or the meatball, as I like to call it. Hovering your mouse over this is what's going to tell you the version that they're on. So Cloud Collaboration is the name of my client. They're on QuickBooks Online Plus. Last time that they signed in was somebody from CleanBooks LLC, which is the name of my firm, which was today. Actually, the person that signed in was myself because I was trying to test something for one of my sales agents. So I was the one that did that. So if we want to access more detailed information about the client, then we click on the name of the client. Clicking on the name of the client does not take you to the client's file. It just takes you to a more detailed page about the client themselves. So you've got different sections here, bookkeeping, payroll, tax. There's even a cool little tool here where you can store documents called shared documents. This is where you can upload stuff and save it. Right, so you're not having to like save it in your email or things like that. So a lot of really great information available in the client detail page. So in the, if we go to the left-hand side here and click on the little arrow pointing to the left, it'll take you back to your client dashboard like we talked about before. This is where you have your team page lives. If you're wanting to learn more about our Pro Advisor program, please don't hesitate to click on Pro Advisor here. You can learn about benefits and training. We just recently moved to a point system for our Pro Advisor program, so the more that you get involved and do things, the more points you get, the higher level that you become. Work, this is where you'll be able to access tasks and projects that you create to help manage your day-to-day work, right? You can assign this to something that is specific to the firm. You can assign it to a client, and then you can give yourself the ability to assign it to a new team member, like maybe reconciling on a monthly basis is something that you need to keep track of, right? So you can set up a reoccurring template, say, hey, I need to make sure that I do this client's reconciliations on the 15th of every month or what have you, right? So those are what you would be able to do there. Now, I did talk about different pricing for when you go to add a new client. So I just want to show you guys what that looks like. So if we go to the Add Client button in the upper right-hand corner, and again, this is going to be for somebody who's never used QuickBooks Online before. They're going to be either transitioning from another product, or maybe they're not using a product at all. Okay? So this is what it looks like now. So you've got the ability to choose business versus individual. Most of the time it's going to be business. You enter in the business's name and then, of course, the client's email address. This is where they're going to get notified that the company was created. If they have a mobile phone number that you want to put in here that you may or may not have, you can put this in here. That would allow the client to get those text messages for the 6-digit PINs. And these are the options that are available for you right now. So we've got wholesale discount where you as the firm are billed. So these are the options that you're going to be seeing. So first things first is advanced. Advanced is the higher version of QuickBooks Online that we talked about. Advanced is the only product that does not offer 50% off for the life of the subscription. Advanced is giving you as an accountant can provide 30% off of Advanced for the client for the life of the subscription, okay? So 30% off, so $105 a month is what you would be able to say, hey, client, instead of paying full price, I can either provide you with this discount, right, things like that. When I click on it, right, it's just going to give me the total. When I click on Add Payroll, this is where it'll be able to give me the ability to say, hey, I want to get full service payroll, right? And if I select that, then it'll tell me, hey, for $145 a month, you're going to be able to provide QuickBooks Online Advanced full service payroll for this price every month, okay? And then you as the firm would be billed. Now, if your client gets directly discounted, as you can see, advanced is not an option. So you can only provide wholesale billing to create a brand new client through here. Direct discount has a couple different options. Plus, essentials and self-employed are still available. Again, these are only going to be prices for the 12 months, okay? So if you notice here, Plus says it's $60 a month, but that's going to be after the 12-month period. But as of right now, they could pay $42 a month. So that's why we always say wholesale is going to be the better option for everybody. Last but not least, self-employed. A lot of people say, like, hey, this is a really good price point, but please keep in mind, self-employed is Schedule C contracting only, okay? Schedule C contractors. $5 a month you can provide at wholesale billing, right? And as you can see, there's no payroll option, okay? So please keep that in mind when you're working in this particular product. Without further ado, that is all I had for you guys today. I don't see any questions. We're a minute over. Shame on me. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me. I hope this was helpful. If you can, please don't forget to check out the survey at the end of the webinar. Please tell me if this was helpful for you or not. We are constantly trying to make sure that we have the best content to provide to you guys. So again, thank you so much for being with me today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.